You are on the Six Screens Telenetwork, the go-to site for your infinite source of precise, reliable, and factual material exposing the Watchtower organization.
Well, hello everyone, and welcome in once again to our live programs here on the Six Screens Telenetwork. Well, we have an ex-Jehovah's Witness. Her name is Gail, and she's coming in from Houston, Texas, and she has a program here every other Saturday night. Is called After the Storm. So let's bring Gail on right now and see what she has on the agenda for tonight. Hello, Gail.
Hi, Rick. How are you?
I'm
Happy New
fine.
Year.
Well, Happy New Year to you too. Thank you. So, what do you think? What's up tonight?
Well, so many people wanted to speak up, not only this week, but the week prior. So I really thought I would have an open forum tonight.
Excellent. Well, we do have a number of people still on here with us,
Yeah.
so that's fine. But I'm here if you need me, and make sure the sound and everything's working good. But you hang in there, and I'm here if you need me. Like I say,
Uh,
thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, Rick.
Yep.
Well, good evening, everybody. Happy New Year to you. Welcome to another episode, the first episode of 2023, After the Storm. We hope you had a safe and refreshing holiday. And we're so glad that you can join us again tonight. If you were listening to the last program, again, it's always such a sensitive topic when we're talking about people taking their lives for whatever reason. It's never pleasant. And so, um, we have a lot of people that wanted to speak up and express themselves. But what I want to talk about tonight is, are we making a difference, and how can we make a difference? So there were several people that spoke up. Roland from the UK, Mike from Rhode Island, Guy. We thank you all for sharing. And so just to pick up from where Joe and Fran left off, um, we want to talk about reconstructing your world after it has come crashing down. That's one thing we want to talk about tonight. How do you begin to do that? Or is that something you wonder, how am I going to put the pieces together? Do you realize that your world is going to come crashing down once you've made this decision to walk away from the religion that you were raised in? So I want to open up the phone lines tonight. I don't want to do all the talking, if you don't mind, um, and hear from you. We're also having a bad thunderstorm, so I hope the lights don't get cut off, but I'll join on the phone line. But let's hear from you tonight. Hit *6. Feel free to come in. If you were talking with us on the previous show and you still have more to say, feel free to come back in. Or if you were just listening and now you're ready to say something, come in. But we are so thankful to have Joe and Fran leading the way. We always like when the newer ones come out, they lead the way with such fire and such light. And Joe always reminds me, you're showing them the way out. And that always refreshes me, because sometimes we hear things and you may feel a little defeated, like, oh, they're winning. But Joe always reminds me, you're showing them the light, even though they're not seeing you. They're not seeing you. They may be following you on social media. You never know, but you are showing them the way out, and that it's safe. It's safe on the other side. Nothing bad is going to happen to you. So thank you, Rick, for putting the number up on the screen. The number is 727-731-6701. If you're watching on YouTube, please give it a thumbs up so that we can get found, because this is a really important topic. Joe and Fran, if you missed it, they just had a fabulous program talking about, the taking of your life, suicide, dying by suicide, because of the teachings of the Watchtower, the mental illness. And one thing I spoke about was we need to separate the stigma of suicide with mental illness, because it's not. It's a state of mind where you want to end the pain. The pain is so tremendous, and you think no one else can understand the pain that you're going through. So you just want the pain to stop. Like a toothache, you go to the dentist, you get the root taken out, or you get it pulled or whatever. You just want the pain to stop. And I think Angela or maybe Linda brought this up before, or Fran. Like there's a 5-minute window. If any of you guys are listening, please feel free to speak up. But there's a really short window, and I can attest to that. It really is a short window before you really follow through with it. And for those that was asking about the number, the hotline number is 988. If you're feeling vulnerable and you can't get a hold of any of us, messenger or whatever, just instead of 911, it's now 988. It's a short number if you're feeling vulnerable. And but we know, a lot of people may not understand exactly what we're going through, but the one thing that my therapist did, she was a good listener. She was a good listener. She didn't understand. She was a good listener. That was maybe 6 years ago. I stopped going maybe 2 years ago. And I got an email from her recently. And she said, I think someone here I think they're a JW. She's like, thanks to you, I know the signs. I know the language. I know what to listen for, because that person didn't want to tell her, that he was a witness. So yeah, did someone hit *6? Did someone want to come in?
Hi, Gail.
Hi, Guy.
Oh, sorry I missed you. So, yeah, for a person with autism like myself, as I explained, there's cultural, there's boundary backgrounds. Yeah, we do tend to get boundaries mixed up. Like, and as a gentleman, we prefer to ask the woman for permission and stuff before I act on the sexual impulse.
Okay, you mentioned that earlier about certain things being acceptable in certain cultures, and what you were talking about, I don't think it's acceptable in any culture unless that person is your mate, just to give it to you straight. Like, I've heard you say it before, and I can't think of a culture where that's acceptable. Can you accept that?
Unless you're in Italy.
Oh, in Italy they do that? Or, guys in the sports arena, they do it to each other, but to someone of the opposite sex, I don't think that that's acceptable. And yeah, I'm just going to leave it at that.
I'm so sorry about that. Yeah, I did watch a Netflix miniseries about Prince Harry too, and little did we realize about how relatable he is and how mental health plays a part in Prince Harry trying to leave the royal family.
Oh, Prince Harry? Okay. So what is
a lot more than what the royal family wanted them to know.
Okay, so are you making the connection to what he's going through to shunning? Is that what you're saying?
To an extent, plus the losing of your mom, and trying to go quietly without repercussions.
Yeah, I've never thought about that. That's a good point. He could be suffering in many ways, the effects of shunning and, getting his title taken away from him. Yeah, it's not a fun place to be.
Right. And Nobel Peace Prize, you say that in Norway is the constitutional monarchy, and also where they hold Nobel Peace Prize ceremonies. And the XJW activism plays a part for world in trying to maintain world peace.
Yeah, you're right. We are trying to maintain the peace, but they are making us out to be the villains, and we're not. We have survived something that is highly toxic. We have survived a lie. We're trying to bring it to the attention of the public, of current witnesses, if they're willing to listen, and to the general public, because this behavior is not acceptable to the general public. They hear it and they're baffled by it because it goes against your rights as a human being. As a sovereign human being, you have a right to community, you have a right to family, and you have a right to choose your own religion, whether you decide to stay or you go. Watchtower has taken that away from its members by positioning themselves as the one true religion. So if you leave this religion, you are nothing. So we are trying to, this community has a lot of people, a lot of contributors, a lot of people that collaborate, a lot of content creators that is living proof that there is life after the Watchtower, and it's not an act of rebellion or inability to accept discipline, which is what I've heard some people say before. But it's a freedom that they don't understand, or they don't realize yet, because they're still under mind control. They don't realize that they're entitled to that freedom. So it's like an invisible prison. The teachings are like an invisible prison that they're stuck in, and they don't even know they're in prison.
Yeah, maybe the prison witnessing turns out to be a very bad idea after all, because pedophile is absolute sick behavior. If you watch the documentary Mia Maxima Culpa from HBO, you would understand the child sex abuse even within the deaf community and stuff. Pope Benedict is now dead, and we have no idea about what would become of the Vatican and what the significance is.
Yeah. So we want to talk about this.
Repeat.
Huh?
Could I share a thought?
Yes, please.
Go ahead.
Okay. Yeah, I just wanted to share a thought, Gail. Good show, really good show, and you did a good job before that.
Hi, Dan.
I wanted to say something along. Yeah, I wanted to say, this is Dan. Oh, hi. Yeah, I wanted to say, who was that, Joe and Fran that was on earlier?
Yes.
I want to say that their evidence of proof that people come out of there and not have to go through it hardcore like we did, because they've only been out a short time. And look at them, they're spokesmen. I mean, me, it's 20 some years, and but I'm like blown away. But the beautiful thing, like you said, Gail, about this show is you get to deprogram as you're listening to the show. The show is, we have been in it. We speak fearlessly. We've gotten our heads back on straight. And but what's beautiful about it is we can warn them. Like you said, Gail, we had no.
We lost you, Dan. We lost you, Dan. Uh-oh. Let's give him a second. I don't know if it's the phone lines resetting. Let's just give Dan a second. Oh, okay. So yeah, every 6 hours. Yeah. Yeah, go ahead.
What it is, Gail, this is Rick here. I just got to redial the telephone number again, and we'll get the folks back every 6 hours. It always happens during your program, but hang in there. We'll be right back with Gail after the storm. Our telephone lines go down every 6 hours, and that's exactly what
Welcome
happened
into the
here.
live six
So just
screen
give us a few
conference
minutes
call.
here, and we'll have her right back
We thank
on,
you
so
for
don't go
joining us.
anywhere.
To speak up and talk, press
Yeah,
star.
it's kind of a pain in the neck that happens. It's the only thing I don't like about that particular conference call. It goes off every 6 hours.
Remember when you are unmuted,
But she'll be right back with us, so hang in there.
and picked up on all noises in the background. We hope you enjoy the programs tonight. You will now be placed into the conference.
All right, we'll get them placed into the conference here.
Host, star, please enter your.
Gail will be right back on with us, so don't go anywhere. She'll be right back.
I'm taking this moment to read the chat because I don't usually get to read the chat. Thanks you guys for being here. We have people from the East Coast to the West Coast, from the UK to the land down under. We're so glad you're here with us. Fixing My Faith, thank you. This is our Saturday Night Live
Ukraine.
program. Thank you.
Okay, Gail, I guess you're back on with us.
So Dan, are you still here?
Yeah.
I'm sorry you got cut off. Did you realize you were cut off? Were you still talking, or can you pick up where you left off?
Just stopped. I just stopped when you were introducing the people. But yeah, no, I just think it's wonderful that Rick shows there. You can be prepared for what's going to happen to you when you exit. And I think it's dramatic. You have been told not to go to therapists. I remember my mother. She was told not to go to therapists because they're going to tell you to go out and have an affair. They were really extreme, crazy. So we weren't allowed to talk to anybody. And who's going to understand? I mean, honestly, we have a death sentence. When we come out of there, I don't think we were meant to continue. I think we were meant to collapse. Think about it. They told us when we go back, we were a pig returning to the vomit, we were, or to the mud or whatever. And we've been washed clean, and now we're going to roll around the mud. We were programmed to fail when we came out of there. We had our whole self against us. We had Jehovah against us. We had to cut off from the organization. We had everything against us. But you know what? God is bigger, and we are all a miracle. Anybody who's come out of there and sorted it all out, they're a miracle. It's an absolute miracle because Watchtower programs for killing us, and they were programs to kill us. When you tell somebody you're going to suffer a second death, when you say you grieve the Holy Spirit and there's no more forgiveness for you, when you know how to do right, all that programming. And what's weird about it is it's kind of tucked away in your mind. It's not even on the surface. But when you're all of a sudden outside, all those voices rush into your head. You've done the unforgivable sin. You've done this. You're like, your mind is half in and half out. You could be kind of angry, and then you're saying, oh my God, what have I just done? And so you're really, really in a very compartmentalized freak type state when you come out of there with nowhere to go, with nobody to talk to. And so the beautiful thing, and I love it, that this show's available and it's becoming more available, and that, all of our channels and everything are becoming more available in YouTube, is that people can deprogram. And guys, we need deprogramming. Watchtower, hear me out. Watchtowers are programmers. These are mind control, they're handlers. They're mind control handlers. They are trained exquisitely in mind control. They know exactly what they're doing. That's why they're ramping up fear. That's why the to-go bag. That's why the alarms are going off the hall and they're running out the exit doors. That's why they're saying we're like a Merkaba. We're going to build halls. We're selling our halls. We're building halls. You better keep up with us. And then fear. It's to keep us distracted from thinking. It's to keep us in this world. And honestly, when you unplug, it's a very weird thing. I just unplugged. I just threw the plug away. I just pulled it out of my neck, if you will. The JW programming, the JW ideology, I just stopped it. And what happens is it gets very silent, very quick. It's like there's nobody. There's no more camaraderie. There's no more meeting attendance. There's no more. You are cut off. I walked into the store and people walked by me like I was a ghost. I was in a little town in Loveland. And I'm like, Ron. And I'm thinking, what the hell? What's going on? See, I wasn't aware. I thought I was always going to be friends with Ron, the artist. I thought I was always going to be. And I went, oh my God, this is like hatred. They really do hate me. They really do think I'm a bad person. And so the beauty of this show is not being broadsided, not realizing what's ahead of you when you leave. You will be cut off. You will be abandoned. You will be hated. Your kids will be torn from you. There will be a speech given to your family. They will say that you've returned to the mud. You will be bastardized. And that's what's beautiful about this show is preparedness. Preparedness. We get to prepare. We get to deprogram. You can listen to this for 6 months on your own. You can listen to any time these shows are recorded. But this is a beautiful thing, isn't it, guys?
Hi, Rick,
We have to
can
talk
I
about.
Dan, I'm sorry. Dan, can I add something?
Yeah, absolutely.
And Gail, thank you for coming in. I appreciate your comment too, Gail. What I found is that Watchtower taught us conditional love, and they have so many conditions upon us, so many requirements, etc. What excuse me. What I found is I can do the same back to them. I can put my conditions on them. For example, if the elder said that they wanted to get in touch with us, I said, nah, that won't be necessary. We'll let you know if it is. Totally unnecessary. In other words, not to be controlled by them, because we're used to letting them control us because we want that prize. And see, and that's the thing you have to be careful of. We entered into it because we recognized there was a prize. And now, of course, also our families, and we don't want to lose our possessions. So not only do we still want that prize, but we also don't want to lose our possessions. So we stand to lose a lot. But rather than give in to the fear of that, you just have to start acting like them and having conditions and requirements. And frankly, learning how to shun them. You know, we can shun them.
Mm-hmm. And if I could add, Joe and I had the, what's the word? We came out together. So we had the support of each other. We had the support of our relatives and people that we met. We found people were so nice. When you're in the organization, they say, oh, worldly people, they're this, they're that. No, they're not. They're nice people. If you just are nice to them, they're going to be nice back to you. And so we're having such good experiences, and we're very, very glad. And we appreciate, I agree with Dan, we appreciate this program. This has helped us tremendously, listening in every Saturday night, and how it's really built our confidence.
It demands faster and faster learning. It really does. And you mentioned deprogramming. And what I would say, it demands understanding what's taken place and then what you can do, what options you have, because we do have options. Not the Watchtower options. They don't count. They're invalid. They're our options that we exercise. And once they realize that, it's a different story for them. They lose power when they see that we have options.
Yeah, I wish my personal support coach could see this, and my behavior therapist too, as to why I reach out to you.
Oh, well, invite them sometime, guy. Invite them.
Yeah.
I'm gonna really do that. You guys are gonna explain the things better than I can. I do myself as the go between my behavior therapist and you guys in terms of social misconduct.
Yeah.
Repeated contacting.
Yeah. We're all learning something deeper. You are, we are, everyone here is. I'm going to learn a lot from you guys. I'm telling you. So watch out.
So let's talk about how do we prepare. But before we go into that, do you think that Watchtower is panicking because it's not working anymore? And I'm not just talking about in the religious sector. Like brainwashing was on all levels. When I came out, I found out we were brainwashed about, secular things. And once they put that big black box in the Kingdom Hall, that's when they switched their tactic, because the TV on the wall does more programming than their words could. So I feel like they're panicking. And does anyone feel the same way? They're panicking because so many people are waking up and it's not working anymore.
Yeah.
Absolutely, Gail. I feel a lot of people, they're out of control. They don't know how to react. I think they were afraid of us. We just weren't going to be afraid of them.
Yeah, see, they're a marketing company. They're corporations. They're a book publishing company that pretended to be a religion. I mean, if you look back in the history of how they started, you dig deep enough and you find out that it was almost like the that they fit into. And then they pretended that they could be a religion. They had a great idea. And so they employed marketing techniques, business marketing techniques, and psychological operations techniques that Soviets were very good at. And they instituted it into a religion. We were the subject. And the important and critical ingredient was our acceptance. We had to accept it. It all worked only because we accepted it. And so long as we accepted it, they had control. Now what's happening is a lot of people aren't accepting it anymore. And their marketing model is failing, what with a new generation as well, who know how to cruise the internet. So they're realizing they can't compete. They just can't compete anymore. And until they come up with a new marketing strategy, they're going to continue to fail because they're a business. They're not a religion. They're a business. And
there's something to be said about millennials. People talked about millennials like, oh, they're lazy, they're this, they're that. But it was the millennials that said, this doesn't make sense. We could do it this way.
Yeah, I know. You see, they are fixed. And they planned on things going their way and a certain way. And my goodness, things can change on a dime. What with the information technology that we have now.
Yeah.
They're not.
So what I hear you saying, Joe, is research. And so you mentioned the Soviet operation. One is Operation Paperclip, research Operation Paperclip, research MK Ultra. I mean, I'm sure you'll research the history of the religion, and that in itself, you will find a lot of things that don't make sense. But research is one thing that you can do. Be prepared for a period of isolation. Like Dan said, he didn't expect the reaction he got, so be prepared for isolation. But then on the other hand, you're going to need that isolating time. You're going to need to isolate yourself to do this research, to deprogram yourself and reconstruct the life the way you want to see it. So research,
That's fine.
Prepare for isolation, and then grieve if you must, because there is a grieving process. It is a death, because it's a way of life that you had that you're dying to. You're dying to the false teachings. You're dying to the hope. I mean, losing that hope that you thought you had of living forever in a paradise earth, being resurrected and all that, losing that structure, give yourself time to grieve that, accept it and grieve it. Research and figure out a new belief system, because your belief system, your core belief system, is under attack, and you have to believe that, reconstruct your belief system. And so that involves research and journaling and being okay spending time with yourself. So you have to get to a point where you like yourself and then love yourself enough to enjoy your own company. Like I mentioned earlier, we were taught to disown ourselves and pick up our torture stake. And someone in the last comment said, where did that teaching come from? Pick up your torture stake. And actually, this religion is where we learn that. Well, we're going to suffer in this system until the new world, blah, blah, blah. And then not realizing that everyone goes through ups and downs. Your life is cyclical. You don't have it easy all the time. Your life goes up and down. So reclaim yourself, the part of yourself that you disowned to take on this belief system. Reclaim that part of yourself. And I can't stress liking your own company enough to be alone and, do all this research, get on the internet, join us here, from time to time. And then the fear will start to melt away. And then there's a peace that comes over your body. You realize that your body, you're so much more relaxed. You're not in this constant state of fear anymore. But think about this. Whenever we left the Kingdom Hall after an intense study article about Armageddon and what we have to do and the 5 steps to this, prayer, meeting, field service, all the 5 steps are always the same, right? So we would leave the Watchtower article after an intense meeting and go meet up at the Lubies down the street, and everybody's laughing and having a good time. Here we're talking about the meeting, but where's the fear? For that moment that we're sitting and eating lunch with our friends, where's the fear? And that's where the splitting of your mind comes in. Like, you're sitting in the Kingdom Hall for an hour and a half to 2 hours, and you're taking in this fear, and then you leave, and then the other part of your brain kicks in and the fear is gone. And so those are the two opposing thoughts that compete with each other, that will make people feel like not that they are bipolar, but their mind is in a state of bipolar. So let's not claim that your mind is in a state of bipolar, because you have two opposing thoughts that are clashing with each other. Is that Dan? Were you trying to say something?
Yeah, Gail, what you're describing almost like a hypnotizing.
Mm-hmm.
It's almost like a selective periodic hypnotizing that they bring back periodically when they want it. And it works. It truly works until we disconnect ourselves. Again, we have to be accepting of it. And what it sounds like is a lot of the friends don't know how to let go of it.
Yeah. And the music puts you in a state of hypnosis, doesn't it? The music, I brought this up before, but the bars that the music is set to, the megahertz, whatever megahertz it takes. Yeah. So the music puts you in a hypnotic state, and then usually the hypnosis at the end, he says, wake up. And so that's what happened when we were at the Kingdom Hall. We woke up after we said amen, and then we're totally different people after the meeting.
Yeah.
It always amazed me.
So true.
Do you recall, at least in our house, they would always say, set aside all of the thoughts of the day.
Yeah.
And it's like, I don't want to do that. I'm not going to set aside all the thoughts. I got things to think about.
They were hypnotizing us.
I got things to think about. I'm not going to go along with what you say.
They were hypnotizing us.
Oh, that's terrible.
I'm going to look that up to see if hypnotist, if that's something that if that's a phrase that they use.
Well, it's a type of MK Ultra. Look up MK Ultra and hypnotizing and all sorts of different mind control.
Jay just wrote that it's fear, but it's combine.
Can I say something?
Can I add something?
How about the first one?
That was me.
Brad. Hi, Brad.
Hey, how you going?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing
So
okay.
I've got to be very well. I've got to be quick because I'm actually at work now, so I'm going to ignore my customers real quick. But on Linda James's show, Pixie actually asked me to look into this exact thing to see if conventions play anything underneath talks and things, you know, hypnotic or anything hidden or anything like that. And actually, I discovered that they play a pretty specific binaural beat.
Yeah.
I don't know if anybody knows what binaural beats are,
Uh-huh.
but they're kind of, if you look them up, there's these frequencies in binaural beats that will kind of subconsciously open up your mind, make you more susceptible to certain things. So they can say that some binaural beats can help you quit smoking and that sort of stuff. And yeah, there was, I looked at 3 conventions and it was the same frequency in all 3 conventions, which probably isn't feedback, probably isn't accidental.
Right. Oh, I'm sure it's not accident.
Wow. Thanks.
I'm pretty sure it's not accidental as well. But yeah, I just wanted to jump in and quickly say that because it popped up.
Great point. Great point.
Wow. Thank you, Brad.
Speaking of subliminal messages in literature, you might want to listen to play some of the Caleb and Sophia videos, play them backwards and trying to find hidden meanings and hidden messages. Yes, there is a term called backmasking.
I was actually going to try looking at the Sophia and that videos, but I find it so hard to get through one of those terrible propaganda-filled nonsense videos. It's so hard. It's so painful watching them things. So bear with me if it takes me a while to do that.
No, I think it's a mistake too. I think it would be a mistake too.
Wow. And that is against it's something being done to us against our will, isn't it? If that is what's happening, which I do believe it is.
Right. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Which is a violation of your
power. There's also power in getting many people to sing the same words at the same time.
Mm.
You know, do you remember ever not singing, going to a convention and not singing and just listening to the power of everyone else singing?
Wow.
There is a certain power in that. There's a hypnotic effect to doing that. That's why monks they all say Om constantly, because there is power in doing that.
Right.
Wow. Hypnotism. I know somebody, there go my lights. Somebody was asking about NLP, and this neuralistic programming goes along the same lines as the binaural beats, you know, reprogramming your mind, like you said, Brad, to stop smoking or lose weight, you know, or work out. But the difference is you're doing it to yourself. If you buy these binaural beats, which you can purchase them, you're doing it to yourself. But if it's being done to you against your will for us to accept the teaching, that's a violation of your human rights. Don't you agree?
Yeah, you mentioned sovereignty before, Gail. You mentioned, you know, we have a sovereignty, the right to rule ourselves.
Thanks, man. I agree.
Yeah. And they step over, they have absolutely no respect for our sovereignty. Absolutely none. Zero respect.
And I love the way you took yours back when you said that won't be necessary. That's all it takes to take your sovereignty back. That won't be necessary.
Yeah, they don't know what to say to that. They just don't know. It's funny. It's fun doing that. You know, it's like these. I have no respect for elders. I don't know how to say it any other way. I have no respect for them. But I do let them know that as a friend, as a human, I respect you, but as an elder, I don't. And I think they're becoming very sensitive to that, because if you face it, normal men don't want to be known that way. They don't want to be. What that does, it appeals to certain mentalities that are interested in power and aren't very. They're not very secure in themselves, and so they seek the power of someone over them, and then they almost become. And I don't mean this in any negative way. They almost become like women to those men, subservient.
Yeah.
They're sheep.
Interesting.
Yeah. Well, they can be like beta males.
You call it, I was just about to say it, beta males. When you said that a couple weeks ago, it snapped. It was like, yeah, they're beta males. We need more alpha males like you, Joe. But
well, someone said there's many males in the Watchtower organization, but there just aren't many men.
I don't need.
This perfectly describes my dad, who's an elder. Like perfectly, word for word.
It's a role. Unfortunately, it's a role that's been designed for people, and it's a bad role. And we get tricked. Men get tricked into taking them on. They get tricked. It's a snare. They're a snare.
So I want to leave.
Figures that out.
I want to take the last few minutes of the show to give you some positive cognitions. Okay. So get your pen and paper ready because it's a good list. And this is one of the tools from my therapist, right? It has the negative cognition and the positive. And one that I see some XJWs say all the time, I'm permanently messed up. I'm permanently damaged.
Mm-hmm.
And the positive cognition for that, I am healthy or I can be healthy. Okay. So I'm going to start from the top. I won't give the negative. I'm just going to give the positive cognitions and reprogram your mind. Take out your pen and paper, type it on, use the notes in your phone if you need to. And if something strikes you that I say, write it down and say this to yourself. Like I was encouraging Roland to say, every day I'm getting better and better. And let me just preface this that I'm not a therapist, okay? I'm not a therapist. Take what is for you and leave what's not, okay? But say to yourself, I deserve love. I can have love. I am a good, loving person. I am fine as I am. I am enough. I am worthy. I am honorable. I am lovable. I am deserving. You are deserving after what you've been through. You're deserving of love, peace, joy, happiness. I deserve good things. I am healthy. I am fine, or I am attractive. I can have whatever it is that you want when you figure out what you want out of life, because there is going to be a point where you need to figure out, where do I go now? Like the question is real. What am I going to do now? Where do I go now? That is a real question, but the answer may not be what you were taught, right? So I can have. I am intelligent. I am able to learn. I am significant. I am important. I am okay just the way I am. And I have that one highlighted. I say that one up a lot. I am enough and I am okay just the way I am. I deserve to live. That's a big one. I deserve to live. I deserve to be happy. I am okay as I am. And we all know there's power in the words I am. So if you say, I am this disease, you're going to, like Joe said earlier, you're going to manifest that, so you say the opposite. You're training your mind because words have power. And so we're giving you your power back tonight. We have more to go. I did the best I could. If you're being hard on yourself, like you did something wrong, you messed up, Roland shared his gut-wrenching story with him. He did the best he could. I did the best I could. I can learn from it. I do the best I can. And going into the trust factor now, I can be trusted. I can learn to trust myself. I can trust my judgment, because we had other people making up our minds for us, telling us how to think. You can trust your own gut judgment. You have that eternal instinct that you were born with, that you disowned. There's that word, that you disowned, that you need to take back now. You need to reclaim yourself and trust your judgment. I can choose whom to trust. I can take care of myself. This is another big one. It's over and I am safe now. Let me repeat that one. It's over. I am safe now. Fran and Joe, you went through this for 36 years. Dan and Angela, you've been out for 20 years. It's over now. You are safe now. It's over. I am safe now. I can safely feel or show my emotions. If you're having a bad day, you're free to express it. You don't have to pretend to be this happy person all the time, because we're told that Jehovah's people are the happiest people on earth. You have your down moments, right? I can safely feel and show my emotions. I can make my needs known. I can choose to let it out. I am now in control. I now have choices. I am strong. I can get what I want. I can succeed. I can be myself. I can handle it. I am capable, and I can choose whom to trust. I am confident. I am powerful. Did any of that resonate with any of you? Is there something you would like me to repeat? Did any of that resonate? Hit *6 to come in.
I didn't get all of them, Gail, but I got quite a few of them.
Okay.
What resonated with me was I can learn to trust myself.
Did you not trust yourself for a while?
Yeah. Yep. So now I can learn to trust myself.
Yes. That's it.
Because they don't want you to trust yourself. They want you to trust in Jehovah. Don't lean on your own understanding. All those things they repeat over and over again.
The heart is treacherous. Don't trust it. No, you can trust your.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's called intuition. We all have it. And that fire of intuition was put out. So now it's time to light the flame, reignite the flame, and learn to trust yourself.
Mm-hmm.
How about it's over and I am safe now? Did that
one?
May I take over?
Yes. Yes.
Hi, this is Stefan. I enjoyed the one where you said that we don't have to beat ourselves up if we do something that's wrong, because of course that was all part of the fear and the indoctrination from Watchtower. Sin, oh, you committed a sin, grace, sin, oh, And once we walk away from that foolishness and we just accept the fact that, you know what, we're human beings, we're flawed, we can do good things, we sometimes do bad things, we just need to learn the lesson from that and move on with life and forgive ourselves and move on with life. And that needs to be taught. I think that alone causes a lot of the mental issues in the Jehovah's Witness organization.
Yeah, because you're constantly trying to prove how perfect you are. You're working towards perfection, and it's an impossible standard in the society that we live in now. We're not perfect. So the cognition for that was, I did the best I could. I can learn from it and I can do better. I did the best I could. I can learn from it and I can do better.
That's exactly right.
Thank you.
See, you hit the nail on the head. This is what the average person does not understand. Watchtower presents this thing where you are supposed to work on yourself, to try to get yourself to that, exactly what you just said, to be perfect, and you never will be. And you can drive yourself mad trying to be perfect, trying to work on all of these things that they want you to work on. And on their end, they know it's impossible. Do you think that the higher ups in that organization try to be perfect? Absolutely not. They do whatever it is that they want to do, they excuse it, and they move on with life. But here the rank and file are always trying to strive harder to be whatever it is that Watchtower wants them to be, and it's impossible, and it's literally driving them crazy.
Exactly. Thanks for sharing. Do you remember what they call that? They call it the new personality. Disown yourself, put away the old personality, pick up the new personality. So forget your intuition and let us brainwash you, really is what that means. Because we're going to brainwash you now.
Exactly right. And if you look at all of their parts, all of their talks to the rank and file, it's all things that you need to work on. You're never okay being whatever it is and whoever it is that you are. There's always something else that you need to work on, something else that you need to change into your life to be this person, and you never get there. It's just like that stupid theocratic ministry school that you never graduate from. And we all sat there going, we never graduate. What kind of a person never graduates from a school? Imagine if you went to a school and maybe there's fifth graders and there's a 55-year-old man in there because he never graduated from the, you'd say, get this guy out of here. He shouldn't be here. He's way too old. And yet we're brought into the fact that we're supposed to sit at these meetings and we're trying to attain something that we're never going to attain, and we just accepted it. We were also brainwashed, but I'm glad that we finally woke up.
Thank you for sharing that. Yeah.
I remember when they used to say, they would tell us, I want my brain washed. They would be proud of it. They would say that, oh yeah, I want my brain washed.
That's true.
Wow. Yeah, so if it's a copy of this, I can take a copy of this, screenshot it, and put it on my social media, or if anybody wants me to message a copy of the negative cognitions and the positive cognitions. This was a very powerful tool for me when I was going through therapy.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea, Gail.
Okay, I'll do that. Let's start thinking positive thoughts. If you're not feeling well right now, that's your reality. You're not well, but you can get better. There is hope. You can get better. And so it is my hope tonight that between the previous program with Joe and Fran and this program, that something switched in your head to let you know that you're going to be okay, and that you're loved, and that you're worthy, and you deserve to be here. You deserve your happiness, and you deserve to live a fulfilled life.
Hey, Gail.
Yes.
Yeah, that was one of the best lists I've ever heard. And I think, that people can pull from them at any time. There's so many great advice in each one of them. And I just know at different times I pulled from different ones of those. But I wanted to also say this too. You remember in the 12 step when they said don't be hungry, tired, or alone, because that messes with your head. So we want to be careful that we don't get too tired, too alone, because it's real easy to be vulnerable. So keep yourself rested, stay around some people. And I got to tell you, the first days for me were very, very rough. But when I realized I was alive the next day, that spoke to me. I thought, well, Jehovah didn't dismantle me. And then I met some people, and I said, boy, those are pretty nice people. And I said, well, wait a minute, they're part of Satan's world. But eventually I started to see the people out there weren't my enemies. They were my friends. They did a lot for me. They were actually like angels. Like people and angels started coming up, and I thought, oh my God, I thought all these people were bad all these years. So if people will just give themselves the next day, give them a couple days, get rested, eat a good meal, and kind of take care of themselves that way too. Hungry, tired, or alone. I forget which that was used in the 12 step, but that sure helped me. So I just wanted to throw that out there. Thank you, Gail.
Awesome. Thank you, Dan.
I'd just like to add to that if I possibly could.
Sure.
Yep.
So my boss just came in when I was talking to you guys because I'm at work.
Okay.
And he goes, what are you doing? What are you doing on the phone? And I said, oh, it's a Sunday, and I'm actually talking about what it was like to be raised in a cult on a radio station. And he went, what? And I went, yeah. So I was raised in a cult. I was raised one of Jehovah's Witnesses, and I'm talking to other people that were also raised Jehovah's Witnesses, kind of thing. And he was like, that's got to help if you were raised in a cult, right? And I was like, yes. And he goes, oh, okay, take the next hour off. So I've got the next hour completely off because my boss sees that this sort of stuff helps. It's hard when you leave Jehovah's Witnesses to realize that worldly people care more for you. They want you to be healthy more than witnesses ever did. If I needed to talk to a therapist or something while I was a Jehovah's Witness, at no point would my dad or an elder come up to me and go, oi, take the next hour off of this. Don't go to this meeting. Take the next hour off witnessing. Go get on the phone. Go chat to those people. You're doing a good thing. That would never help. That would never happen. And I think that was one of the biggest. When I left Jehovah's Witnesses, I turned into a hermit. I didn't know what to do. I didn't know anyone. So I just found a place to live and lived there by myself. In basically, it was like this. It was almost like a cave, and I never left. And I called suicide hotlines and things like that when I got really down, but I found that those hotlines didn't really work because they didn't know what I was talking about.
Yeah.
A few people on those hotlines have actually been, raised in a cult or know what to do about that sort of stuff. And Joe and Fran said that it was hard to find people in their community earlier. And I just wanted to, if you were in my community when I left, you wouldn't have found me either. Because I still knew everybody, all the Jehovah's Witnesses in my community. It's all my direct family, people I grew up with, people that helped my parents raise me and things like that. And, there's that, you leave Jehovah's Witnesses, okay, I'm not a Jehovah's Witness. What am I going to do now? Okay, I might as well research Jehovah's Witnesses. And then you realize that as you're doing that, you're becoming an apostate. So it's almost like a two-tone thing. I've left Jehovah's Witnesses, I've left everything behind, and now I'm the worst person that any Jehovah's Witnesses can see. So it's like this double. It takes a long time. It took a really long time for me to realize that being an apostate was excellent. They were always the good people.
Right. So you chose who to trust.
Sorry, you go?
You chose who to trust.
Yes. And also, you never trust yourself when you're a Jehovah's Witness. And that was very difficult for me when I left. I found it very hard to make my own decisions. Even my wife now will be like, "Oi, just tell me what you goddamn want for dinner, you idiot." And it's like, I'm sorry, I can't. My parents or Jehovah decides that for me.
Oh, dear. Brad, we appreciate your expressions. This is Fran, and I'm so glad that your
Fran.
boss gave you another hour. That's great.
Yeah, me too. Just an hour of not working. Woohoo!
That's great. Where are you located, Brad?
Australia, on the Gold Coast.
Oh, Australia. Wow.
That's what I call that is love in action.
Right.
Wow.
What your boss just did, that's
I'm
love.
proud to be an Australian because the Australian Royal Commission happens here, and
Yeah.
it's something that makes me super proud that I live here.
Wow. Yeah.
What
That's
time
one of the
is
first
it?
things. That's one of the first things we listen to. So yeah, you should be proud.
Wow.
I waited years to listen to it. I had not even really heard about it. And that was when I did listen to it, that was when, I had not been a Jehovah's Witness for a while at that point, but I didn't hate them either. And I was always I called myself a Jehovah's Witness sympathizer. If I heard people going, "Oh man, Jehovah's Witnesses do this, this, and this," I'd always be round to straighten them out. No, you're not listening properly. They don't do that. Don't be stupid. And then I saw the Royal Australian Commission, and so much of that just took my whole world away. And then I found out my brother had been abused, which made it worse. And then I confronted my parents on it, and it didn't seem like they gave a shit at all. Sorry for the language. I'm Australian. We do that. It took everything away. I'd lost everything, and then I'd lost everything again. And I guess I had, I don't mind admitting that I had a bit of a mental breakdown when it happened. And, you try and talk to the people closest to you. I tried to talk to my wife, tried to talk to, friends that I had made in the world, but you get this blank look, like, wait, what? How the hell did that happen? Why did you choose to be a Jehovah's Witness? If that's the kind of nut job stuff, it's like, dude, no one chooses to do this, you idiot. You get tricked into it. So it starts to feel insulting, when you're trying to tell people about it and things like that. I found the 6 screens was the only, when my wife actually found 6 screens for me. And I think Linda's show was the first show that I listened to and commented on and everything like that. And I found it so much more helpful than any hotline I could call, any therapist I could go to. Just listening to people that had gone through the same thing.
We've all been in those shoes. Yeah, we all can understand and relate.
And I think there's a big part of me that thought I had the worst story.
Yeah.
You're like, man, this is so bad. What happened to me? Surely worse hasn't happened to every single other person that's been a Jehovah's Witness, and then you find out it is. So you've got the lightest story compared to a lot of other people. But some of the stories I've heard on 6 screens have been disgusting.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's like this weird guilt thing as well. Like I feel guilty about the people that I convinced to join. And when I was 6, when I was in year 1, I was a bit misfit. I didn't have any friends at school, and my mum made me be friends with the son of the teacher because he didn't have any friends either. And then he died. He had a hole in his heart, and he fell over on a beach one day and just died. So my mum took me to his house to see his mum. And she told me there one day, while I was there, it was at night. She goes, "Hey, when you go out tonight, look up in the sky. The brightest star that you see out there, that's Liam." And I just ignored it. I went, "Okay, sweet." And my mum went, "Brad."
Oh, dear.
And I was like, "What?" And she's like, you have to say something. So I had to explain to this lady who had lost her son like 3 days before that. And I did, quite proudly. "Oh, no, that's not Liam. That's a star. Liam's gone forever. And you didn't teach him how to be a Jehovah's Witness. He's dead forever. You're never going to see him again." And oh man, the guilt I feel for doing that is so bad.
Oh, wow.
That's psychotic stuff to make a child do, isn't it? And I think that it felt like they were trying to make me a sociopath. To not care about anyone, to not care about anything.
Terrible thing.
Anyway,
I can't
that's my.
imagine. Yes, we didn't grow up as witnesses, but we raised our kids as witnesses. So it's a terrible thing you do to a person.
It doesn't sound like you raised your kids like my parents raised me, though, to be honest. My dad is an elder, very insecure person. I think he likes being an elder because of the power that he gets. He always likes telling people what to do, being the guy, the man that you go to talk to. But if you ever tried to go and talk to him when you were his own kid. Yeah,
I know. Yep.
Anyway, that's my 2 cents. Gail, thank you very much for letting me vent.
Thank you for sharing, Brad. We're so glad we have extra time off so we can heal together. We're healing together.
I was actually feeling pretty sad today until somebody mentioned the Theocratic Ministry School, and I was like, oh my God, thank God I don't have to do that anymore. It cheered me up immensely. Screw that.
Saturday mornings, I relish my Saturday mornings and my Sunday mornings in bed. I just relish it. I'm like, oh my God, this feels so good.
Yeah.
Feels so
I
good.
being marked good, let alone work on. Like, I got A's in school. So being marked good, that's not an A. So it was like, the first few times, I was like, didn't I get an excellent? How come I didn't get an excellent? An A plus? No, it's only work on or good, nothing else.
Right.
That was stress. That always stressed me out.
Yeah. Hey, Brad, this is Angela. I just wanted to say that I love your personality. And I just thought you were such a delight on here tonight. And I just hope you come back on again another time. You were so clear. You're so, you get everything that's going on. And I really appreciate your clear mind and how you see things. I think you're just a really neat guy. So I hope you come back on again sometime.
Oh, I'm on pretty much every week. I'm always listening. So if anybody ever wants, but I'm always at work on a Sunday. So if anybody wants to talk to me, I'm listening every single show. It's just that I need to, I need to kind of time it perfectly so that between customers and things like that. And it just so happens that my boss walked in and gave me an extra hour off. So it's just, all right, getting ready to just battle.
That is.
Well, thanks for coming up tonight. That's very delightful. You're fun.
Oh, thank you for your kind words too, Angela. I appreciate that. Thank you so much.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, if there's nothing else, I guess we'll wrap it up and lead the way for Apasta Babe, Linda James. I want to thank you so much for joining me tonight on After the Storm. I didn't expect it to go in this direction, but what I will do is take a photo of this and I'll post it on the Six Screens Facebook page. So, or you can message me and I'll send it to you because this was my lifeline, or one of my lifelines. So thank you for joining me on After the Storm, and we'll be back in 2 weeks. And you all have a great evening. And remember, be kind to yourself. You have been through a lot. Be kind to yourself. Forgive yourself and learn to love yourself. Okay? All right. We'll talk to you in 2 weeks. Have a good night. Thanks for joining me.
Well, thank you very much, Gail. Good program, lots of participation. So very good. I enjoyed the program, and we're now looking forward to Apasta Babe, your favorite apostate. She should be coming on shortly. Linda, you can get the link that I sent you and hop on to your StreamYard live streaming platform. So you did get the link. So go ahead and give that a shot. But anyways, we're having a good night here at the Six Screens Telenetwork. As I look at the control panels, I see people are coming in. I've got 6 computers running here at the studio, and I see lots of things happening tonight. People coming in from all over the world, so that's always good. We're looking at our radio network. There's still a lot of people on that calling in on the telephone lines. So the Six Screens is gaining momentum, and we're so glad to have a forum like this where people can vent, like you just heard from Brad out there in Australia. And he's been venting, and that's good that people can come in and let people know all about their position that they have had in the Watchtower. And now they're out of it. And boy, I'll tell you what freedom you get when you do leave. Well, we had a number of programs tonight. We have one more program left tonight. We got Linda James coming on, and she's going to be doing her program here very, very shortly. So I hope she gets on pretty fast, because what happens is we want to keep the audience in here and listening to her program, because she goes all night long here at the Six Screens. So let's see what happens here. We'll see if she did get the link, and we're always looking forward to seeing what she has to say. She has a lot of different people call in the wee hours of the morning, even sometimes 2, 3, 4 in the morning. She has people calling in. So anyways, I'm Rick Farron. I'm here at the control panel in Massachusetts. And I'm glad you're with us. And if someone wants to speak up and say something, go ahead, say hello. We're waiting for Linda to come on. If you want to say something, hit *6. Let us know how you're enjoying the programs tonight. I had some really good programs. We had Joe and Fran on. They did a great program on suicide and obviously the problems the Watchtower can create for people. And it's a real nightmare for people at times, leaving the Watchtower and being shunned. And many people, sad to say, take their own lives. But Joe and Fran were talking about that tonight, and they did an excellent, excellent job. So, anyways, we're just waiting here for Linda. If you'd like to come on and say something in the meantime, before Linda comes on, and even when she does come on, it'd be great if you guys could say something as well. Are you on the telephone line, Linda? Are you on the telephone line, Linda James? Pasta Babe, are you on the telephone line? Did you get the link? Is what I'd like to know. I did send you the link. It's in Messenger. So we're going to try to get you on here. You got the link, Linda? You getting all ready or what?
Yeah, I'm getting into the studio now.
Okay.
Going into the studio now.
Okay.
I invited Brad to join me, but I don't know if he'll join me. And I realized I should have asked you first. But if he does decide to join me, I told him he doesn't have to show his face. But because he had an hour off, I thought I would do that.
All right.
Is that okay?
Yeah. I mean, did you
Okay.
you want to send them the link?
I forgot to check with you first.
Well, it doesn't matter. You don't have to check with me. But did you send them a link?
I did. I sent him the same link that I had.
Oh, okay, fine. That's good. It doesn't matter. No, anytime at all like that, that's fine. So let's see if we can't get him on too. That'd be good.
Yeah, if he wants to join me, I'm totally up to it. If not, that's fine too. But I just wanted to give him the opportunity.
Excellent.
Give him an hour off.
Yeah.
You might want to like co-host with me for a minute or two.
Yeah. Well, geez, that might be nice. Yeah, that'd be good if we get Brad on. It'd be great. It'd be great. All right. I see you're in the stream here now. All right. I'm going to bring you on, Linda. So there you are. We do have you on. I'm not sure what Brad will do. If Brad gets the link, he wants to come on and join us. All he has to do is hit it. Brad, if you're listening to us here, all you have to do is just hit that link that Linda sent you on your telephone pad. I mean, more than likely you have a telephone there because you're calling in. But hit it on your telephone, and if there's a camera and you feel like you want to come on, we'd love to see you. If not, don't you worry. Just talk, and it'd be wonderful. All right, so we do have Linda with us. So I think everything's all set, Linda. Now, are you on Bluetooth too? Yeah, because yeah, I think it might make a difference because I noticed like late at night as you go on, it makes a lot of noise, a lot of buzzing noise in the background. I don't know if you notice that at all if you're listening. Okay. Oh, okay. So all right. All right. Count to 5. All right. It sounds good to me. Sounds good to me. So what is it? Oh, you got it. And that's a nice hairdryer. That's a good hairdryer. Well, I'm glad you got it. I'm glad your little well, you got your little box of gifts there, so that's good. And you get some magnets in there too. All right. Well, I'm glad you did. Thank you. All right. So let's do this. I'm going to bring Linda out, and then what we're going to do, bring her back in. I'll introduce the program, so that'll be fine. So let me introduce the program right now. Let me just make sure we got everything up and running. Make sure all the sound clips are ready. All right. Let's do it. Let's go live right now on our platform or on a number of Facebook groups as well on YouTube.
You're on the Six Screens Telenetwork, earning the reputation of giving all the right ingredients, uninhibited, and exposing the hard, cold facts about the Watchtower Society. And now, in Disney.
Well, hello everyone, and welcome into our program, Healing After the Watchtower, with your favorite apostate, Apostle Babe, Linda James. She's a former Jehovah's Witness from Southern California. So she's got the program tonight. We're going to bring Linda in. Let's add it to the stream. Hello, Linda. Going good. It's going good here tonight. So it's full speed ahead. It's a nice cool night up here in New England. But I'm glad you're on. We had some good programming earlier, and lots of people are still listening in, so that's good. We should have some good participation here for you, Linda. So, anything in particular you'll be discussing? How do you feel about what you're going to do tonight? All right. All right. Well, I'll step out of the scene. I'll let you do your thing, but I'm here if you need me, Linda. Okay.
Hey, Rick, I wanted just I wanted to say hi to Susan, and how's she doing tonight?
She's not doing too good tonight. She's a little under the weather tonight, but she wasn't able to come on. But looking forward to it next week. She's been on to the last couple of weeks, so we'll get it back on next week. So she wasn't doing too good tonight yet. Thank you though.
Yeah,
Yeah. In fact, Angela was asking me. Yeah.
yeah.
You couldn't. So you couldn't hear Angela. Uh, all right. Okay, Angela. All right. She's not here. Oh, that's strange. Well, thank you, Angela, for speaking up. But Pasta Babe can't hear us on the phone. Now that's strange. Uh, can you hear me, Linda? Yeah, yeah. No, I just don't know why we couldn't hear Angela calling on the phone. Uh, Nothing has changed here. I'm not sure. Angela, you still on there, Angela?
Yes, sir, I am.
Okay, just count to six for me, Angela.
Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
All right, thank you. You still can't hear Angela, Pasta Babe. Huh, that is weird. That is really weird. Yeah, well, you really don't need you don't need headphones. All right, but the all right. Well, are the headphones plugged in right now? All
Can
right.
you hear me now, Linda? Can you hear me now?
Rick, After the Storm is still streaming and Healing After the Watchtower is not live yet. I don't know if that makes a difference.